This is Jarrod Horak. This is my latest Kentucky Derby 2024 Contenders video. I'm going to look back at the Fountain of Youth and Gotham Stakes and the other points races that were run last weekend, and I'm going to update my top exceptional 11 Kentucky Derby contenders. And if you're interested in reading my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports, head on over to todaysracingdigest.com. On their front page near the top, you'll see a Kentucky Derby tab. Click on that tab. It'll take you over to the Digest Derby page. You can read all of my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports there. Every Monday, I update my Kentucky Derby, my Kentucky Oaks list. Every Tuesday, I update my Kentucky Derby list. You can go over and read those reports every Monday and Tuesday, and then I post other articles as well on the road to the Derby and Oaks on that page. So keep going over to todaysracingdigest.com on their Derby page for more details. If you're interested in my full card analysis at Santa Anita Park, you'll find those full cards each day. Santa Anita runs at therunawayhorse.com. That's my personal website. You just go over to my shop page there, and every day Santa Anita runs, you can purchase full cards. And you can purchase individual full cards, weekly and weekend packages, the entire meet. I'm also going to be having my annual Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont full cards, Breeders' Cup full cards. I cover Del Mar when they run. So all year long, I have full cards there. And I also have a free picks page. You can get that tab right at the top. I post a free pick each day at Santa Anita and some other tracks as well. You can check that out. And if you see at the top, you'll see in red an RPM handicapping tab. That is my handicapping partners website. So if you go over to RPM Handicapping Giant, if you're interested in any handicapping software, books, and more, they cover many products there that you may want to purchase. So go over to their website if you're interested, and you can get 10% off for being a Runaway Horse member. So if you go over there, if you're interested in any books or software or anything like that to help you with your handicapping. And for the free picks that I've been doing at horseracing.nation.com. Also, I've been doing a best bets blog on that website. I've been doing that for many years. I think I've been doing that blog for like 15 years. And every day I post a free pick there. You can get to that on my Runaway Horse page right on the front. If you're interested, I have a link there, or just go over to horseracing.nation.com. Right on their front page in the handicapping section, you'll see my free pick that I post every day there. Now we'll get into this Kentucky Derby update. The Fountain of Youth Stakes was a little bit disappointing last week. Now my top choice was Dornoch, but it started out as a 9-horse field. But then we had Victory Avenue scratch. He was an impressive looking horse, making his second career start, or he would have been there, but he didn't. And then you had Merit for trainer Safi Joseph Jr. He scratched to run in an allowance race. And then Todd Pletcher didn't like the way that Locked was training. He was the favorite there, so he scratched. That's the second time Locked has scratched. And then Speak Easy, another Todd Pletcher runner that looked like he was going to be the controlling speed, but he ran off in the post parade and they had to scratch him. So then we only had 5 horses, and then Dornoch was able to get the job done. He was the heavy favorite. He defeated Led Dom Bro, Frankie's Empire, Real Macho, and Dancing Groom. Led Dom Bro gave him a little bit of a battle, but Dornoch was best there. Didn't really learn anything there. Now, Dornoch won the Remsen Stakes last year over a speed favoring wet track, and 7 of the horses of the 10 races that day went wire to wire. Dornoch was one of those, so we still had questions to answer, and we were hoping to learn more in the Fountain of Youth, but I don't really think we learned anything there. We know that he was supposed to win that race, and he did. It was the first start of the year, and that's fine, and we'll have to see how he does next. In the Gotham Stakes, a very wet track there. It was a 1-turn race with 50 points to the winner. So we just don't know how far these horses want to go, but we had some promising horses run 1-2. Deterministic won. He was coming off a layoff, a second-time starter, breaking his maiden in his debut at Saratoga last summer, and then he disappeared for a long time for trainer Christophe Clement. He was ready, and he handled the wet track, and he was a bit better than Just a Touch by a couple lengths. Just a Touch was stalking outside here, and he wasn't able to quite quicken enough late. He was making his second start. So both of those horses remain eligible to do better in the future since they're so lately raced. Deterministic's now 2 for 2. Just a Touch has a win and a second from 2 starts. Both of them, we'll see how they handle 2 turns. Deterministic already has enough points to run in the Kentucky Derby, just doesn't have a lot of experience. John Battaglia Memorial was run last weekend. Brad Cox trainee Encino won that one over the favorite Epic Ride. My top choice ended up setting the pace there. bolt at midnight, but he couldn't keep going. I thought maybe he could get out there and control the pace. He had to go a little bit quick early. He wasn't able to keep going in the stretch in his first start against winners. Encino was best, stalking outside. Epic Ride was second. We'll see if they show up in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, the next points race at Turfway Park, or if they go and try conventional dirt next time. The San Felipe Stakes was a Preakness prep, not a Kentucky Derby prep, because Bob Baffert trainees Imagination and Wind Me Up ran 1-2. Now, Nysos was the heavy favorite in that race for Baffert, but he decided to scratch Nysos. There was nothing wrong with him. He just wanted to give him more time between starts, and he's going to run him in the Santa Anita Derby on April 6th. So that left the two Baffert trainees, Imagination and Wind Me Up, doing battle, and they dominated that one. They just hooked up early. They just kept battling, and Imagination just did defeat Wind Me Up there, and they were both clear of the rest of the field. Also, maybe Imagination, Wind Me Up horses to watch, possibly for the Preakness Stakes. And I updated the Kentucky Derby point standings, the top 25 points leaders. So you can go over to todaysracingdigest.com. You can read my whole blog there where I recap those points races. I update the point standings, and I give out my exceptional 11 Derby contenders and some action on some of those horses. We have Sierra Leone, who's been training as he prepares for the Bluegrass Stakes. He's been my top ranked Derby contender for several weeks, and he's one that he had a recent workout on March 2nd at Payson Park, 4 furlongs and 49. So that was a decent effort. And then he's going to run in the Grade 1 Bluegrass on April 6th. Timberlake, he could either go in the Arkansas Derby or Bluegrass Stakes. He's number 2 on my list, and he won the Rebel Stakes as my top choice last time out. Fierceness, he's number 3 on my list right now. He disappointed in the Holy Bull, but he's one that when he puts it all together and he gets an alert beginning and he gets on the pace, he can be dangerous. He romped in his maiden win. He romped in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile when he was able to get up there and get into a nice early pressing rhythm. The 2 races that he didn't do that, he lost both. So he's one in the Florida Derby. He could easily bounce back and win that one if he gets an alert beginning. He's able to get in a nice early pressing rhythm. Track Phantom is one that you certainly want to keep an eye on for trainer Steve Asmussen. He's number 4 on my list. He's done well. He won the Gunrunner Stakes and the Lecomte Stakes, and then he was second best behind Sierra Leone in the Risen Star Stakes. He had a workout at Fairgrounds, a 5 furlong move on March 3rd. He is going to be running in the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby on March 23rd next. Dornoch is number 5 on my list. I talked about him and his Fountain of Youth and his Remsen Stakes, and he's one that we'll see where he goes next, either the Florida Derby on March 30th or the Bluegrass on April 6th. He'll get a tougher test, and we'll learn more about him next time. Conquest Warrior, he's one that I've liked. He hasn't run in any Kentucky Derby points races yet for trainer Shug McGahee, but he's heading for one now after winning a mile and an eighth optional claiming race on March 1st at Gulfstream. I like that stalking speed he showed there. Now, Merit, a horse that scratched out of the Fountain of Youth to run in that allowance race, was out there setting the pace. Conquest Warrior stalked. He took over in the stretch. He won by 5 lengths. Could have won by more even if they wanted to. He was under a hold, very visually impressive, just like his maiden win was visually impressive. He just has to get faster, and I think that this horse has a lot of potential to do just that. Let's see if he doesn't run in the Grade 1 Florida Derby on March 30th. Locked, I'm not sure what's going on with him. He's missed 2 races. He had a fever and missed the Sam F. Davis. And then in the Fountain of Youth, Pletcher scratched him there too. So now he's only got time to run in 1 Kentucky Derby points race if they can get him together and get him back on track here. He was a good 2-year-old. He's had back-to-back setbacks in his 3-year-old season. That's not a good sign for the Kentucky Derby. We'll see where he ends up. Stronghold for trainer Phil D'Amato is number 8 on my list. He had a workout recently, a half-mile move in 49 and change. That was at Santa Anita on March 5th. Maybe he goes to the Santa Anita Derby next. We'll have to see. He won as my top choice. He ended up winning the Sunland Derby at Sunland Park a few weeks back. Liberal Arts is number 9 on my list. He's one that I want to see what he can do in the Arkansas Derby. I thought his effort in the Southwest was pretty good on February 3rd. Muddy track. You saw Mystic Dan dominate that one, getting a great inside trip. Liberal Arts was 3rd there. Now, Mystic Dan won by 8 lengths. Liberal Arts was getting to the runner-up, and then he galloped out in front there. He's been preparing for the Arkansas Derby ever since then, and we'll see how he can do in that race. He's a son of Arrogate. He could continue to get better. Tuscan Sky for Todd Pletcher. He won an optional claiming race on the Risen Star undercard, defeating the number 11 on my list, Nash, that day. So those two dominated that short field, and we'll see where Tuscan Sky goes. He's going to go in a Kentucky Derby points race next, and then Nash. He's disappointed since that highly regarded maiden win he had last fall. He hit the board in a couple Kentucky Derby points races, and then he was the favorite again in that optional claiming race, and he wasn't able to go with Tuscan Sky in the late going. Don't know what they have in plan for him. But he did have a half-mile workout, 49 and change at Fairgrounds on March 3rd. So he's still in training, and we'll see if he remains on the Derby trail. Maybe they point to the Preakness, or maybe they turn him back and decide that he's a sprinter. We'll have to see how all that plays out. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. Keep checking my YouTube channel for all of these Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks videos. Go over to todaysracingdigest.com to read my Oaks and Derby reports. And I'll be back next week. I'll do another recap of the Tampa Bay Derby, and I'll talk about some of the other doings on the road to the Kentucky Derby. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.